there's quite a bit of confusion, especially like in the self-improvement space about whether or not you should watch the news. Because on one hand, there are arguments like it's important to stay informed. It's important to kind of know what's going on. But on the other hand, there are so many arguments that it's just an hour of consuming negative content that doesn't really affect your life in any way, and except it just kind of degrades your mindset, and it kind of isn't really a worthwhile time investment if you're trying to be intentional about where you spend your time. And I'm personally on the in the camp of I believe it's an insanely bad time investment. I believe there are so many better things you could do, and here's why. First off, it's just the news are just mindless consumption. Like there's no real action to it. There's no real like, oh, now I learned something new. I'm going to go and change my behavior. That doesn't happen when watching the news. It's not like education. It feels like education. It feels like you're getting educated, that you're learning things because you're hearing about stuff that's actually happening. So it feels like you're learning new things and you're getting relevant information for you. But basically none of it is relevant for you. I'm gonna get back to that in a bit, like get more into that in a bit. But basically, also all of the content that you consume is basically brainwashing. Let me explain. All the content that you consume is going to affect your mindset. It's going to affect like your view on the world. So if you put all the knowledge of everything that's ever gone wrong in the history of everything into your head, like the news, like that was an over exaggeration, but they always talk about, oh, this place blew up. Oh, this war is happening. Oh, this guy's like stole something from someone. It's always stuff that's going wrong. It's never, this guy went for a walk in nature and he quite enjoyed it. They would never cover that. So literally everything you can do with it is kind of go around, go around and have your mindset kind of negatively impacted by it because you're getting so much negative information. So I would recommend like finding a more positive, a more educational source of brainwashing, of consumption. Because you don't want, I wouldn't want the mindset that the news are putting forward. I wouldn't want that in my life. So go listen to a podcast. Go listen to The Diary of a CEO, Deep Dive. Go listen to audiobooks. Go, yeah, what else? Like, go watch some fucking YouTube videos, bro. I'm kidding, but, yeah. Mm, yeah, basically, if you're going to brainwash yourself, go brainwash yourself with something positive and something educational. I hear another argument because I have this like ongoing argument with my dad about whether or not I should be watching the news. I don't think I should, but he has like he doesn't really like that I don't sit in there and watch the news with them like as the last thing before we go to like after a dinner. He doesn't really like that I don't sit in there with them and watch the news because he feels like I'm missing out on some quality time, and he feels like I'm missing out on some quality time. But really, it goes back to it just being mindless consumption. It's not quality time. It's time where you're physically close. That's true, but you're not talking. You're not paying attention to one another. You're not looking at each other in the eyes. You're basically just watching the same thing. And like quality time, like spending some time with someone, should be fun even if you remove the screen. So if the screen was removed, I would be there. That would be so awesome. That could be awesome. But if it was like playing chess, imagine playing chess every night with your family, or doing something like equivalent to that. That's not really that stimulating. That's literally just you using your brain in some way, or being near someone. Like even just talking for an hour would be that could be awesome. But it's just specifically the news. It's just there's no quality over that time. It's literally just mindless consumption while being physically close. So I don't see that. I don't see that point. Yeah, I mentioned that. Okay, and even then, like another argument is that like how do you get your news then? But I think in this world where we get so much information from everywhere, from social media, from everywhere on the internet, I don't need another source of information into my life. I honestly have enough sources of information into my life, and everything that is relevant to you, everything that's going to be relevant to you, like anything, like imagine during COVID, if you hadn't watched the news, you would still know all the guidelines that apply to you. You would still get to know everything else because there's so many other channels of information. There's so many people who do watch the news. We're living in a world where so many people do watch the news that you don't have to fuck up your mental health because of it. Because even then, like somebody else is just gonna mention it. You're going to hear it. It's not like you don't get to know these things. It's just that you're getting it from a better source if you don't watch the news. And just the last point is that 99% of everything they talk about is just irrelevant. Not only is it negative, it's also just irrelevant to you, because think about by far most people in the world can't do squat about the things that they're hearing about in the news. They're thinking, you gotta keep up with what's going on in society. You gotta keep up with like what the problems are. But why? Most people can't do something about it. If you're a billionaire, if you're a governor, if you're a president or like a minister of something, sure, go watch the news. Sure, you need to know what's going on. But even then, there's better ways to get the news, and they probably get like tons of reports. They have no need to hear the news to watch the news because they get so many reports. So even they have better sources than the news. But yeah, still, why is it so important that you keep hearing about all these things that are happening in society? You can't do stuff about it. You can't go in and affect like the wars that are going on. You can't go in and help solve like the big world problems. So focus on yourself. Focus on building something of your own first. And then maybe at some point you're like a millionaire philanthropist who can actually do something. But until then, there's just, you can't do something about it anyway. So why let it occupy your mental space? Why not dedicate yourself fully to building something of your own? Just like I'm building this YouTube channel. This is like the slow beginnings. But this is me working on something. I think it's awesome. And I think watching the news is just, it doesn't give as much as an hour a day of doing something should. It doesn't give the returns that it should. So stop watching the news if you agree at all with what I said, and thank you for watching.